Monday here, Easter Monday, the last day of the Easter weekend for us. But for you guys, it is Easter Sunday, heading into that Easter Monday. But I thought I'd come and talk to you guys, give you some updates. There's been a bunch of different things go on. We have more information about certain cases. We have less information about other cases. It's sort of been that sort of a weekend, bit slow actually. But there's always something to talk about, so we will talk about it. Wendy, yeah, I hope you all had a great Easter, especially today. I saw there was a bunch of like egg, like what do you call it? Like an egg hunt. There was a lot of these like for the little kids at the I don't know, churches and other places in the USA where the kids go and try and get eggs. And there's always a kid that like tries to fight another kid over some Easter egg that they want. It is pretty entertaining. But I hope the kids had fun. It is really a child holiday. They are the ones who have the most fun, I guess. The adults just get to hang around all weekend and, well, eat good food and hang out with family, I guess. But or if you're in California, you might be at Coachella enjoying the last weekend of it for 2025. So maybe you're doing that. All right. So when I left you on Saturday for me, Friday for you. Last time I saw you, I we had that thing in Bankstown. Well, we have a photo of that young lady now. So this is her photo that came out in the press today or late yesterday. This is that woman that we all saw the dramatic footage of her being bundled out of her home, and we all know what happened. She was killed, and that car set alight, and she was inside of it. So they found her body, um, you know, inside of this burning vehicle. It's really sad. There is a few small updates on this. Nothing like groundbreaking. They haven't really said. There's a few rumors going around and things like that. There's a few theories going around in the media as well. So this is her. I probably pronounced her name wrong, but I'm going to say it's Thai Kim Tran, but that's probably the Aussie pronunciation of it, not her Viet way of pronouncing it. They're just saying here, friends and family members have broken their silence after a Sydney mother was kidnapped and found dead in a burnt out car. They say she was abducted on Thursday night by 5 men who forced her to strip naked in her driveway before she was taken away at gunpoint in a waiting SUV. They say in an online post, Jenny Mize said she had been left with grief over what had happened to Miss Tran, who moved to Australia from Vietnam more than 10 years ago, and that if one day your best friend leaves you forever, you will cry. So she's saying that she is in deep grief for losing her friend. They're saying here the mother of two had only just recently celebrated her 45th birthday, and yeah, so the things it sort of changed. Originally, they said it was something to do with possibly major drug importation, but the sort of word going around the media right now is that okay, maybe it's not quite that. It may be that there was some criminals who were in drug manufacturing that were ripped off, and that this may have something to do with that. So some criminals who are making drugs, what that means or how she's associated with it, I don't know. You would think that anyone they would be willing to do this type of murder to would have to be very close to the actual crime, like really close. It would have to be like brother, husband, sister, like not like 45th cousin that may, you see every Christmas. Not that. It would have to be someone very, very close to their family. Um, so maybe they were trying to send a message. Maybe they were, couldn't get to the person they wanted to get to, and this was their way of getting to that person. Mrs. Ping, said earlier, she said, "What if they got her to draw the husband back to Sydney?" And I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting." She listens to my show far too much now to start getting these ideas. She's like, maybe they could only get to her, so they hurt her to make him come back because the children are in Sydney. So he would have to come back and look after the kids. Maybe it was to draw him out from wherever he was interstate. Possibly, although the media has this little thing in it, if I can bring it up. They said something like they're not alleging at this time that her husband has anything to do with it. They're saying police have managed to contact Miss Tran's husband, who had been away on business interstate. It's understood that he has since reunited with their two sons in hospital. The 8-year-old boy who was had serious head trauma, he is understood to be now in a stable condition, and the 15-year-old son had minor injuries. And they say there's a manhunt underway for the killers of who killed Miss Tran. Uh, we'll see. We'll see if they can find them. But it says here, however, detectives believe it was a targeted hit and suspect Miss Tran was marked for death after someone close to her ripped off a drug manufacturing gang. What that means, I don't know. They say here also in the Sydney Morning Herald, they reported that detectives have already managed to trace the car that her body was found in that was torched, and it had been reported stolen from inner Sydney earlier this year. That's pretty par for the course. They often steal these vehicles and then sit on them. They'll hide them until they need them, use them, and then torch them. They say investigators believe the car had been stolen by a gang of thieves that provides vehicles known as kill cars to be used in underworld drive-by shootings and executions. Our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, described it as a horrific event. And acting New South Wales Premier Prue Carr said on Sunday the city was shaken. She says, "Our thoughts are with the young children affected and the loved ones of the woman. The level of violence involved, particularly against children, is confronting and completely unacceptable." Yeah, I don't know why you needed to beat a child in the head with a baseball bat to the point where he needed emergency surgery. That would be interesting to know. But there's that photo again of her. Rachel said, "Glad to hear that the younger son is now stable." Yeah, that is true. Joe Neal says Asian OC is vicious. Well, you have to ask, who are they trying to get to? That's what the police have to figure out. Or they might already know. They may already know. They just can't quite piece it together. Who were they trying to either send a message to or get to? And I think that's probably the next part of the inquiry, is to find out uh if one, is there anyone else at risk of being killed? Because most likely there is. And two, who would want to target them and for what reason? And can they find these people before they try and kill whoever their other targets might be over this alleged ripping off of a drug manufacturing gang? So we'll have to wait and see on that. Rachel said, "Yeah, glad to hear." Me too. I'm glad to hear that her sons are okay. Shaken and stirred? Not so, Mr. Bond. Natasha says, "Hello, everyone." Hi. Queen Wave. Hello. Happy Easter. Yes, happy Easter to those who celebrate. Actually, apparently Greek Easter this year fell on the same weekend as Christian Easter, which apparently doesn't always happen. Apparently, sometimes they're often a week apart or a couple of weeks apart. So this weekend, Sunday the 20th, was actually Greek Easter as well. So all happened on the one weekend. We don't have to have separate things this year. And here, this was in the Daily the Daily Telegraph. They said, "Did Asian crime lords order kidnap killing that shocked Sydney. And they're saying detectives investigating the savage abduction and killing of a woman and beating of an 8-year-old child are examining whether the horrendous crime was the work of Asian drug lords. They say sources have told The Telegraph drug dealing was a line of inquiry investigators from Strike Force Bushfield were following as they hunt for the woman's killer. They say this is a bit that's interesting. They say while there is no suggestion that the 45-year-old woman had a criminal record or was involved directly in the drug trade, police are looking at associates of her, like of people she knew, and their potential drug debts. Drug debts. This is new information. And their hunt for a motive. They say drug connections are definitely part of the investigation, but at this stage there are a lot of lines to follow. This is a fast-moving investigation. It's certainly something police are looking at. This is some brutal, horrible stuff, and it is certainly looking like it was targeted. Whether it was a warning sign to someone or something else that remains to be seen. The source also said detectives are also probing whether the woman's kidnapping and subsequent death were ordered by an Asian crime gang. So this is some other information here. They say police sources have told the Telegraph that while they believe the woman was alive when she was dragged into the SUV, they do not believe she was alive when the car was set on fire. So she was already deceased by the time that they set that vehicle alight. Wow, it's crazy. It really is. There's that fireball. That's what the car looked like when they set it on fire. That was a video that someone captured in their street. So pretty brutal. It is not something we hear about a lot down here. Not in this particular way. I've seen some people trying to frame it as like a DV type death, but it's not that. It seems to be while it is a woman who has died, it's not a DV, well, that we know of, type death. And even in the other article, they said something here. Where is it? They said something like they don't believe her husband had anything to do with something like that. Where is it? Yeah. There is no suggestion Miss Tran was involved in any criminality, or that her husband was anyway involved in her abduction or execution, nor the reasons behind it. That's a pretty strong statement to make, that they don't believe that he had anything to do with any of it. Not the like, so he didn't organize to have his wife killed. That's what they're trying to say. They're also saying that he's not the direct reason why she was abducted and killed. That's a pretty strong statement to make this early on. So yeah, there seems to be various theories. One about that drug manufacturing gang, one about a drug debt that maybe something to do with it. It seems like no one's quite sure. No one's quite sure exactly. It seems like the inquiry is moving quite fast from different theories and different lines of inquiry by the hour, by the day. So you'll hear one thing, and then the next morning you'll hear something slightly different. That has been happening all weekend. Just trying to see if they did put out an article today on the Morning Herald. They didn't? They didn't put out an update? I would have thought they would have. I would have thought Operation PM. Anzac Day? No, not Anzac Day. Wait, hold on. Hey, Cookie, is Anzac Day this week? On Friday. So we've got another long weekend. Bonus. Bonus long weekend. Wait, so we only go to work. So like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then we're off again from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Wow, why is anyone going to work this week? Why why is anyone going back to work for like 3 days? It's what that's a weird back to back. Does it normally happen like that? It doesn't, does it? It fell on a late week, yeah. Alright, let me see if I can find I just wanna see if they're getting this information from the Morning Herald. I wanna see where they're getting it or if there's an updated article. It's not showing me one, which is very annoying. Ah, here. So this is their last updated article. That was April 20. That was yesterday at 1:45. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, okay, that is the last one they did. Okay. They're saying drug ripoff behind woman's savage kidnap and murder, according to police. So yeah, you're seeing these different theories floating about. Yeah, they're saying investigators believe the murder bears the hallmarks of a sophisticated, organized crime group. There's the car. Police say the 45-year-old woman. Yeah, when blah, blah, we know all that. I don't want to re-say it to you. Investigators by match torch cars. Yep. They say publicly, police have only said that the murder was targeted rather than a random act of violence. But this masthead can reveal police suspect Tran was murdered because someone close to her had ripped off a gang involved in drug production. Tran is not believed to have been involved in any criminality and may not have been aware she was in any danger. There is no suggestion Tran's husband, who was out of state during her murder, was involved in any wrongdoing. So who was it then? Who was the person close to her that a Asian well, I don't wanna say that, but whoever was after them, um, who is she so close to that they would be willing to kill an innocent person to get to them? It has to be someone really close in the family, like I said before, brother, sister. I don't think it would be like, "Oh, this girl I knew at work. Oh, yeah, she sometimes dabbles in, drug dealing or something." I don't think so. It would have to be some real close family member, someone where they might know someone. Dad, brother, lover at 45 with 2 children, maybe. I'm not gonna say that people can't have affairs. Rachel said it could be another family member. Yeah, like maybe they got brothers or an uncle. But I'm just saying, I think it has to be very tight. It has to be like 1 or 2 degrees of separation. I don't think it can be like 4 degrees of separation from her. Like, it can't be like, oh, it's my sister's brother's uncle. Like it's his son, and it's like 4 parts removed from her. I don't think so. I think it would have to be close. Your ex did? There you go. But that's only 1 degree of separation. Joe Neal said, "What part of Sydney is Gangland Central?" In Sydney? Well, it's Bankstown. It's exactly where this is. It's Bankstown, Lakemba, uh, Fairfield, Cabra, all throughout that region. Not to say it's only Bankstown. There's a lot of good people there too, but there's a lot of crime that happens as well. All throughout that Sydney southwest, all throughout that corridor is where you tend to get all this type of crap happen. Gayla says it has to be close enough to get the thread across. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It has to be someone that will get the message, understands what's going on, and it's not just like, oh, that's not related to the time I stole $100 million of drugs from someone. Someone must have just hated her. No, it has to be someone close to her. So that's the only update. It's been a little slow because of the long weekend. So in Australia, it's a public holiday on the Friday. It's Monday today. Today is also a public holiday. And it's been a little slow for updates. I reckon as soon as we get into Tuesday, tomorrow, this is all going to go into overdrive. Not to say that police haven't been working over the weekend, they would have been, but the updates have just been a little slow. Rachel said, "I would think a close family member of her or the husband could be." Yeah. Hold on, guys. Sorry, I got a little cold. Hanging out with family yesterday, having like so many different people there, and I always feel like trash the next day. It's hard to explain. I think because we're so excited to see all our family, and we had a lot of people there we don't see very often. It's either you expend a lot of energy, or because you're around a lot of people and they have different germs and things or something, it kind of beats down your immune system. I always feel terrible the next day, even though I love seeing them. I always feel like very tired, very run down. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. All right. Let me get out of this, and then that. And let's get to that. So that's all I have on that for now. If we get more, I'll bring it to you. I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed and get you guys on track for that. By the way, there was an article that came out yesterday, the day before, and it's about a woman we actually only spoke about like a week ago. I'll take you to it. So you might recognize this particular face. Do you recognize this person? We've talked about her a few times. That is Jessica Camilleri, and she is the woman who cut off her mother's head and paraded it in the street. There is another woman. Oh, that's her mum. There's another woman here, Rebecca Jane Butterfield. This woman murdered her only friend by stabbing her 33 times. Apparently, this woman and Jessica up here, Jessica Camilleri, apparently these two are not allowed to be near each other in jail. Apparently, they hate each other. I've This is a really interesting article, actually. Yeah, so it's saying Jessica Camilleri has a non-association order in prison with Rebecca Jane Butterfield, and they are sworn enemies since meeting inside prison. Could you imagine? This woman cut off her mom's head. This woman down here, she stabbed her only friend 33 times, and now these two met behind prison walls, and apparently they have now a non-association order, which means they can't be near each other. They can't be in like the same cell or anything like that, because prison officials are worried that they might go into like an all-out frenzy against each other. I find that very fascinating that they would take their violence out on each other. They're saying here, they're saying here, Butterfield. So I don't know a ton about her, but they're saying she spirals with any mention of her stepmom, which is why Camilleri talking about her mum and how she murdered her triggers the other woman. So they both sort of trigger each other. They don't really like each other. They're saying here she gets moved every 3 to 6 months to give officers a break because she can be nice as pie to an officer and staff, and then the staff will think there's a good rapport with them. Then the next minute she will pour hot water all over you. So in prison, one of the weapons that they use is a kettle. So a boiling water to make tea and coffee. They'll often boil it or in a pot or any way they can, and they will throw it over their target, and they will severely disfigure and hurt those people. So they're saying that both these women are so unpredictable that prison officials get tired of monitoring them because they're so violent. Um, they're saying here Camilleri is also considered one of the most dangerous women in prison, a ticking time bomb ready to explode. She is serving 21 years and 7 months in prison for the manslaughter of her mother, whom she decapitated in July 2019 before carrying her head outside and dropping it on the footpath. Just 2 years into her sentence, she violently attacked two prison guards, ripping the hair from their heads. Yeah, she has a weird fascination with scalping people. She has this weird, like, fixation on either pulling hair off or like taking their skin off their head. It's very brutal. They're saying her rap sheet has been growing within her time in prison, with prison bosses at their wits' end. They say here she has become an ongoing problem. She has to be monitored at all times because she will use any opportunity to cause harm. There has already been time added to her sentence for attacks involving extreme hair pulling. She has scalped people with her bare hands, and anything can set her off. Yeah, she is really violent. Uh, I don't know if it's her medical condition or just how she is, but she will do it just on a whim. So Jessica Camilleri. So you can understand why prison officials don't want these two women together or anywhere near each other. That would be like a tornado of just violent actions. So they don't want that. No more hot water for you then. Yeah. She should be in a psych unit. I wonder if they've already tried that and that she's probably already beat up a bunch of the nurses. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, there you go. I just wanted to bring that to you because that came out yesterday about this, you know, insight into her life in prison. They're saying here a non association order in prison is a court imposed restriction that prohibits an offender from associating with specific individuals. So you can actually get one of these put on you outside of prison too. They often use these court imposed orders on biker gangs. They often use it on biker gangs or organized crime. So oftentimes when they can figure out your network of people, they will try isolate you. The police will. They'll put one of these orders on you and then say you can't speak to like your friend and this guy and your other guy and this other person that you do crimes with. And they'll often use them in that way too. But yeah, so the reason they don't like each other, they're saying here they hate each other. Butterfield even claims that when Camilleri talks about chopping her mum's head off, which she frequently does, it sets her off on a violent outburst. Ugh. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, so there you go. A little bit of an insight into Jessica Camilleri, what she's doing in jail. Wow, this is crazy, actually. They're saying here, but the other lady, Butterfield has extensive corrective services New South Wales file containing reports on more than 110 disciplinary matters, more than 40 assaults, as well as slitting her own throat and bashing her head against a wall 105 times until she cracked her own skull open. You can understand why you don't want these people anywhere near each other. One of them is violent to herself and other people. The other one, the other one's violent to just everyone. This is what some of these prison officials have to deal with inside the jail. I can't imagine having to work in this type of environment where you have to be so careful about like just turning around that they could either grab you, stab you, throw hot water over you. Like it must be no wonder these people that work in prisons often leave very early. They don't last very long, and they often have PTSD like symptoms for years after, based on what they see. Um, what's this one? Yeah, so they're also saying here, apparently Butterfield has also, on occasion, stabbed a prison guard in the face, while on other occasions she threw her colostomy bag at prison officers and also assaulted a nurse who was treating her. In July 2020, she lunged at officers while wearing an ankle bracelet and threatened to take their guns. Later in November that year, she pounced on a nurse who was trying to take her blood. During one outburst, Butterfield screamed, "I'm going to kill again, and I will kill when I get out." Sounds like a good idea not to ever let her out again when she's already proclaiming that she's going to kill in the future. I don't think that what do you do if you go to the parole board and you're like, "We have this woman here. She has expended her sentence in jail." And they're like, "How was she in jail? Like, did she improve at all inside of the jail?" And they're like, "Well, not really. There's a statement here that says she says, "I am going to kill again. I will kill again when I get out of jail." I don't know what you think, but that doesn't sound like advancement in, you know, being, you know, understanding her crimes and wanting to be, advancing through the prison program. That sounds more like revenge is the top of her list of accomplishments when she gets out of jail. Wendy R says, wagering they'll let her out eventually. Oh, I hope they don't. Gayla says, I would leave them to it. I wouldn't be surprised if prison officials one day just be like, open the doors and just walk away and just be like, oh, the doors are open? Oh, I don't know anything about that. Never seen that before in my life. And just let them have an all-out brawl just to, get that out of their system. Wendy, Woman of Steel says you keep them, no rehab there. I honestly believe that Jessica Camilleri is beyond reproach, that she will never be fixed. There is no rehabilitation for Jessica. Not now, not ever, never. She is a very broken individual, very warped. I don't. It's not her fault as such that she's like that, but she is such a danger to society, people, everyone. Like, she can't even behave in jail. She's already pulled clumps of hair out of prison guards. We're not talking about like a little bit. We're talking like a lady was walking around with a bald patch on the back of her head where Jessica Camilleri ripped the hair from her skull. I mean, she is just not. She should never be released. She's one of these people that can never be fixed. It's she just doesn't have any rehabilitation prospects, I don't think. I mean, I've not read her complete file, but the fact that she would kill her own mother in that way while parading her poor mum's head down the street and then call 000 and ask if they can sew it back on and if she'll be okay. It just tells me that her line between fantasy and reality is just so blurred that she's just a danger. I don't think there's ever a way you can get her to a place of normality where you could feel safe putting her in the community. Although I think they'll try. I think they'll try. Gayla says, what punishment do they even get? I think when Jessica got done for the attacking the prison guard, I think she got extra time. I think it wasn't long. It was like an extra half a year, a few months or something. It wasn't a long time, I don't think. Hold on, I'll find it. Yeah. There's her and her mum, by the way. Did we ever play the 000 call? I think we did. I don't want to play it because it literally might scar all of you for life. They're saying here, notorious mum killer Jessica Camilleri has had time piled onto her jail term after she once again admitted to attacking prison guards. She's currently serving 16 and a half years in prison for brutally killing her mother inside their Western Sydney home in 2019. She was found guilty of manslaughter for the shocking attack in which she stabbed her mother Rita at least 100 times, carved up her face, and decapitated her. But since being locked up, Camilleri has been hit with fresh charges for attacking correctional services officers. They're saying last year she pleaded guilty to 2 counts of assaulting law enforcement officer and inflicting actual bodily harm Yeah, she was sentenced to 22 months in jail for attacking 2 guards at Silverwater, effectively had 1 year added onto her non-parole period, meaning she will be eligible for release from custody in July 2032. They say a video played to court showed Camilleri yanking a fistful of hair from the scalp of one of the guards. They played the video to the court. Oh my god. Camilleri was back before the courts on Thursday after she pleaded guilty to a similar attack on 2 female guards at a different correctional facility in March the following year. She pleaded guilty to 2 counts of assaulting a law enforcement officer. In the Penrith District Court on Thursday, the judge sentenced her to 12 months in jail with a non-parole period of 9 months. So she had another 9 months added to her jail sentence. She was given a 25% discount on her sentence owing to her early guilty plea. She will now be eligible to be released from custody on the 4th of December 2032. So the other one was July 2032. So it really is only about half a year she got added for each offense. So yeah, 4th of December 2032, she may be out in society. If she can make it through the sentence, through the everything else, they may release her into the wider community. God help us all. God help everyone that lives in the western suburbs. I really, I hope they don't. Laura T says, "Wow, definitely not enough time and parole that soon." So she killed her mother in 2019. She'll be out of jail 2032. So what was that? It's not like 10 years. So she got like basically a decade before parole. She was actually sentenced to almost 20 years, but the parole period is about 11 years. So yeah. Gail said, "I really don't understand why she's in jail. I guess because they believe that they can manage her psychiatric illness while in jail and that maybe jail is the safest place for her. I don't know. Um, maybe the safest place for everyone. I'm not sure. If you haven't heard this, all right, this is pretty graphic. It's not like gooey or that. It's just you can imagine like what happened to her mom. It's not like, oh yeah, I licked her face and ate her blood, or no, it's not like that. But it is pretty bad. Here, we'll play. This is the triple O call when she killed her mom.
Hello.
Hello, this is Alison from Police Emergency. We just received a call from this number.
Yes, I need you to get the ambulance and the police out here immediately.
To which address?
Please come. I need you. This is a immediate life or death situation.
Which suburb or town is that in?
St. Clair.
Okay,
St.
so
Clair.
St. Clair, and what's the nearest crossroad, please?
What's the nearest one? Listen, can you talk to the neighbour? I'm flustered. Can you just talk to him? Could you? Because my hand's bleeding. Yeah. Thank you. Can you talk to? Oh, my finger's broken. I can't.
It's all right.
Okay, talk to him.
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
What's happened?
I don't know. We was just at home, but she just come in screaming for help. And when suddenly I opened the door, she said, just help me and call the police or ambulance. And she said to me, she had a fight with her mom, I think.
Okay.
My mum tried to stab me and I killed her, I think.
So did she just say her mum tried to stab her?
I don't know because of the...
Yes.
Yeah.
With a knife. And in self-defense, I think I killed her. Yes. Can you tell him to come immediately?
Yeah,
In self-defense, I think I killed her. You sure about that? Self-defense, huh? You sure about that?
Can you please just come immediately, please?
Okay, so she believes that she may have killed her mother.
Yes.
Yeah, she said like this, yeah.
Yes.
And where is this at? Is that where you are at the moment?
Sorry, who, me?
Yeah, so where are you at the moment?
I'm in
Oh, okay, but she's
Yeah.
Is she with you at the moment?
Yeah, she's in the front yard of my house.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
how old's her mother?
How old is your mother?
My mum's dead, I think.
How old is she?
57.
57.
57. So is she not conscious?
Nah.
I stabbed her because she tried to kill me.
Okay, then you didn't check if she was breathing?
No, we can't
Could you
go
come to
there.
the house? There's a kid in there. Could you come with me, please?
No, I can't go. Sorry about that. Nah.
Okay. There's a
The person on the phone is very smart. I wouldn't go with her either after she just admitted to stabbing her mother. I think you made the right choice there. Stay in the broad daylight. Don't be heading to no home. Never head to the second location.
kid, a 4-year-old kid
Yeah,
wasn't
no.
going in the house.
And is her mother severely bleeding?
No, because we didn't go to her house because I'm outside of my house because I can't go there.
Okay.
Yeah. Please.
Okay, so do you know what the lady's name is?
And my fingers are broken. My
Yeah.
fingers are broken.
Her mother was just his name, her name.
Jessica Camilleri.
Is that your name? Is that the lady's name who called?
Yes, yes. Can I talk to her? Lady, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Your name's
My
Jessica?
My fingers are broken.
Okay.
Mum has had enough of me because I admit I've been a challenge, and this ongoing thing's been going for months anyway. She had enough of me. She grabbed me by the hair and dragged me from my room all the way to the kitchen, and she got a knife and she tried to stab me with it, and I grabbed the knife off her because I thought she was going to stab me, so I stabbed her back. And I was so heated up with anger, I just kept stabbing and stabbing and stabbing her, and I took off her head. Her head is I ran to my neighbour, not this neighbour, my other neighbour before this one, who's on the other side. He was at work. I told him to call the ambulance and the police immediately. He's going to do so, but no one's at home because everyone in the family is at work now. So he wasn't much help. He said, all I can do is I'll call the police and the ambulance to my address. And I thought it was going to take a bit of time, so I ran to my other neighbour on the other side.
Okay.
And I had my mum's head in my hand. I know this sounds insane, but I was taking it for evidence to show the neighbour. In the struggle, in the frustration, I didn't know what I was doing. I cut her head off. I chopped her head off with a knife.
Okay. What type of knife was it?
There
I don't have any words. Every time I listen to that, you just go, what type of day of work was that 000 operator having when they got this phone call? That Paul, I like the lady. She's so calm. She did a great job. She's like, what type of knife was it that you used to cut your mum's head off? Like, she's so calm. I love it. You can tell in that phone call that Jessica Camilleri is so wound up and excited. Like, she's very excited about what's happened. I don't even know if it's angry. It's more excitement. Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I cut my mom's head off. I was going to bring it and show it to people for evidence." Evidence of what? That you committed murder? Of what? Self-defense? That's what I often do. I often take the head with me, to show people. I'm like, I got to bring it with me. No one's going to believe me. I got to take the evidence. Chilling.
there was all sorts of knives. There was about 7 knives I was stabbing her with. A few of the knives broke. When that knife broke, I got another one and did the same.
Where's the knives now?
They're all in the kitchen. There's blood everywhere. There's blood everywhere. Yeah.
And you're outside the house?
Yes. The ambulance and the police have rocked up. Do you want to stay on the phone?
No, that's okay. What's your phone number, Jessica?
All right, I'm gonna leave it there because they dropped the phone call after that because the cops turned up. You can hear her. She's like, "Oh, it wasn't just one knife. I got 7 knives, and when that one broke, I just got another one, and I just kept stabbing her." It's not fear. It's not like someone who's been through like a traumatic episode. It's almost like someone said thrilling. It's almost like what do they call, like Jupiter's delight kind of thing. She seems so happy about the situation and so excited to tell people about what has happened. Yeah, I think you'd struggle to have a self-defense plea by saying you cut off their head and had to use 7 knives to nullify the threat. I think that that didn't stand in court. It's okay. We all know she was convicted of killing her mum. And it's not funny either. Like, her mum lost her life. Listening to it, it's the reason you have that, and I have that reaction, is because it seems so crazy and outlandish, but unfortunately, it did happen to Rita. And, her family misses her too. One of the things I saw outside of court after Jessica was convicted was, I think it's her sister that did a press conference, and she was just like, my sister Jessica Camilleri is just such a selfish bitch, and she did this, took my mum away from us, and she knew what she was doing. She's just a violent individual. Like, have disowned her. They don't want anything to do with her. They're so mad at her for what she's done, because apparently her mum had tried to help, had tried to find facilities for her, get her mental health help, everything, and it just wasn't enough. Woman of Steel said, self-defense usually requires one injury if you do it correctly. It's to nullify a threat and get away. You can't be like, oh, I used 7 knives, and when one broke, I just kept going. Woman of Steel said Lori Vallow acted like that. She was almost giddy. Well, she still does it. Have you seen her in court in like the last 2 weeks? She's still so excited about everything. She's like, oh my God, I'm in court. I'm a lawyer. I get to ask the judge questions. I get to have my own TV show. Like, she was so excited over it. Never once gives a crap that her children are dead. Not once. I don't think I've really ever seen her really give 2 hoots about JJ or I'm gonna have a mental blank, but Tylee Ryan, sorry. Tylee or JJ. I don't think I've ever seen her really give 2 craps about either of them. She's just caring about her own image, her own trials, whatever. She's just, oh, me and Chad are gonna be together and be vindicated. No, you're not. Have fun in jail. Woman of Steel said, you don't have to kill someone to get away. You do not. Marylander says, tomorrow will be interesting in the Vallow case. It will. Are they closing arguments? I haven't really been following it. Are they doing closing arguments tomorrow? Yeah, so set for tomorrow, closing arguments. So hopefully that'll be all done and dusted, nice and fairly quick. It's not like a 7-week trial, thank the Lord. And hopefully we get the result that we're all expecting. Her defense was horrid. They shouldn't even put up one anyway. They're like, oh, are you planning on calling any witnesses or anything? She's like, no. And they're like, do you expect that to change at all? And she's like, no. And they're like, all right, have fun with that. Gayla says she'll find out tomorrow that Jesus didn't give her an Easter miracle. Yeah, and hopefully there'll be some more justice for people she has hurt. Joe Neal said, I would have claimed it was an S word. That would be very silly because they would be able to disprove that in about 1 second. Rachel said, yes, closing arguments tomorrow. I don't think a verdict. Oh, it's going to be like that. As soon as they go into deliberation, I reckon you're going to have it depends what time of the day the judge gives his instructions to the jury. If it's too late in the day, it'll probably be the next day. But it'll be quick. You guys aren't going to be waiting like 5 days for a verdict. It's going to be an hour, 2 hours, something like that. It's going to turn around very quick. Yeah, no defense. Yep. So if there's no defense, now she doesn't have to put up one. That's her legal right. She does not have to do a defense. It's up to the state to prove their case. That is how it works. But at the same time, I just think this is going to go. We've seen it in other cases where people have not put up a defense. And I just think it's just going to get turned over so quickly. The other thing I would say is that just says to me how much of this was all a dog and pony show for Lori Vallow. That's all she wanted. She wanted the media attention. She wanted to be on like Law and Crime every day. She wanted to be on the camera talking, and that's all it was about. So she could become a jail superstar. That's all it is. Rachel said, I think closing arguments are right after lunch. Then it's going to be a late day. If the jury can get their instructions before court is out for the day, which they may not, it might get done Monday. If not, it might be Tuesday by the time they get. Wait. Yeah. So it might be Tuesday by the time they do final instructions to everyone and put them into deliberations. It might be sometime on Tuesday. I wouldn't be betting on Monday if I was a betting man. I would be betting more on Tuesday sometime if I was having money on it. Woman of Steel said she had a very good lawyer in Idaho. He was the only one who put in any effort for her defense. That is true. That is true. So yeah, I wanted to bring you that update about Jessica Camilleri because we've followed her a little bit on and off over the years, and I know a lot of you just find her case so out there. Me too. Me too. I just when I first heard about this story, I was just like, her poor mum, and the fact that she paraded her around like she was some sort of trophy is it really is one of those horrific cases that you don't hear about super often. But all right, let me get to my other stories. There was a good update about another cold case. Hold on, guys. I'll grab it. It's this one. Yeah. No, actually, it's not this one. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find this update to another cold case we've been following. Okay. Apparently I can't find my links. Good work, Ping. Congratulations. Aren't you the person who's supposed to be running the show? Apparently I am, but I just don't do a very good job of it. Hold on. So I always line these up before we start the show, and I must have closed it thinking that we were already done with it, and we were not. So apparently I must have shut it up. Yeah, it looks like I did. Well, good work, Ping. Good work. Yeah. Damn it. That's okay. I will go to a different story. By the way, I've been really checking into the London Thomas thing. Still no update after they raided her boyfriend's home. I haven't seen anything over the Easter weekend, which is very sad. It must, her family must be very sad that she's not back for Easter. And I just checking here to see if there's an update. No update since Thursday when they raided the boyfriend's home. Nothing about that. So that is very sad. All right. All right, let's head to Texas. And a story for some reason we didn't get through the other day, but I would like to do tonight. Apparently, also, I read today, 1 dead in a shooting in downtown Houston. Good work, people. Can't you just eat some Easter eggs? And why do you have to shoot people on Easter? Can't we all just have fun? All right. So this one, why is my screen like that? I don't know. They're saying here, man sentenced to death for murder of family, including a 6-year-old girl in Southwest Houston apartment. It's Xavier Davis. They're saying the man accused of killing a Houston couple and their 6-year-old daughter has been sentenced to death. They say Xavier Davis, he's 28, was found guilty of capital murder of the deaths of Gregory Kahi. I'm not going to pronounce all these. His wife and their daughter Harmony, who was shot and killed inside their Southwest Houston apartment in June 30, 2021. The couple's 10-year-old daughter was also shot, but she survived by playing dead and managed to call for help after the shooting. What a brave little girl. They're saying the horrific crime happened just after 10:30 p.m. at an apartment complex on Fondren Road, Houston. Police arrived to find the couple and their young daughter dead from gunshot wounds. Davis was initially charged with 3 counts of capital murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. The charges were eventually consolidated in the 209th district court where he stood trial. Prosecutors sought the death penalty. After deliberation, the juries agreed. Davis was sentenced to death on Thursday, according to the Harris County Attorney's Office. So he is sentenced to death. We'll see if there's an appeal. There most likely will be several, which there always is. There's a photo of Xavier for you. I just want to go back to when this originally happened, to like the early days. Not that one, but that's okay. I want to go back to 2021. Okay, that's fine. We'll go to Click to Houston anyway.
Today, a Harris County jury handed down a death sentence in what prosecutors call a massacre. The capital murder case of Xavier Davis finally came to a close since its start in 2021.
And we were the only station inside of the courtroom today to see the guilty verdict come down and the sentencing. Our Abigail Dye brings us the story from the courthouse.
For 24 days, jurors have walked down this hall in the Harris County Courthouse into the ceremonial court where they heard testimony in the Xavier Davis capital murder case.
He was holding a gun up to Harmony Carhe's head as she sat there cowered down.
The testimony, intense. In 2021, Xavier Davis killed 29-year-old Danyavia Lagway, 35-year-old Gregory Carhe, and their 6-year-old daughter, Harmony Carhe, in their Fondren Road home while the couple's other 10-year-old daughter watched. She was also shot and played dead while shielding her 1-year-old brother.
No matter how angry we are with that person, we don't execute people who are mentally disabled. The Eighth Amendment of the United States Constitution says we don't enforce cruel and unusual punishment.
Jury selection began in February, and on March 24th, Davis pleaded guilty to 3 counts of capital murder, moving the trial into the punishment phase.
All for money. This was about greed. There was nothing more to it. This defendant was selfish, he was greedy, he wanted what wasn't his, and he was willing to kill for it.
The jury deliberated for over 4 hours, and here in this courtroom is where they sentenced Davis to death.
My family and I have to live with the deep emotion and scars and the rest of our life, the nightmare inflicted at the hands of you, Xavier Davis.
The victim's family still reeling. Outside the courtroom, Davis's mom shared her thoughts only with Fox.
My sympathy goes out to this family. In no shape did any family win, none. No family won. And I'm deeply saddened from this.
It is a relief to know that Xavier Davis got the outcome and the sentence he deserved, that this family got justice.
The emotions were high for both sides in this courtroom, and the state says they're ultimately pleased with the verdicts that the jury came to. For Fox.
There you go. It is a little dramatic, but there you go. He has been sentenced. There's a photo of the little girl and the guy and the lady who were killed. I mean, you can say what you want. That's very interesting. I'm sure we'll hear about an appeal. I was searching for the video that they actually did when it very first happened, because I remember they did like a news break about it, but I couldn't locate it. Unfortunately, it's all about the trial finding. They're all the videos I could come across. But you know, so many times in these cases, especially near the end when you get to a verdict, they're all talking about the person in the courtroom, right? We shouldn't lose sight about these people, the ones who lost their lives. They're the ones that we should be keeping an eye on. That person's still alive, at least for now. They're still breathing. They're in a courtroom, you know, whatever. But they're still here with us. These people are not. I always try to remember that the victims in these cases are often forgotten and become more like a number or just, you know, an added piece of, you know, data. And that's, you know, that's not right. So there you go. Sentenced to death. That was this week in Houston. Houston, a very busy week out there. There is some breaking news. Apparently, if you are in Sydney, there's some sort of incident on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Is anyone seeing this? A major incident on the Sydney Harbour Bridge has brought traffic to a standstill on Easter Monday afternoon. Multiple emergency crews were seen on the southern approach to the bridge as traffic backed up for kilometers about 2 p.m. Well, it's 2:45 now. They're saying New South Wales Police confirmed to Daily Mail they had responded to a situation in the area but declined to provide a comment. It's understood the incident involved the S word. Traffic on the Cahill Expressway and Bradfield Highway in both directions is affected. The delay is compounded by maintenance works that are being carried out on the bridge. Wow, that's always great. So here's a photo. So apparently all the traffic over the Sydney Harbour Bridge is backed up because someone, I guess, is threatening to maybe jump. Someone is threatening to jump off the Sydney Harbour Bridge right now. Let's have a look. AD. I wonder if they've got helicopter. No, that's not it. AD? No. AD. Let's see if they've got a bunch of traffic copters up. Let's see. Sydney Harbour Bridge. Maybe they cleared it because I don't see any air traffic over the... Yeah, I don't even see any like traffic helicopters or anything over the Sydney Harbour Bridge right now. It's very quiet actually. Look at the air traffic in Sydney. It's extremely quiet for a Monday afternoon. I know it's a public holiday, but like one aircraft in the sky, that is... Did they clear traffic out? Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on. But there's like no air traffic over Sydney right now. Like that's where the Sydney Harbour Bridge is, right here. But there's like, yeah, look, you would think there'd be flights. There's one coming in. That's a local -8. That's a -8, so it's probably coming from somewhere regional. Yeah. There's one outbound, and then everyone else is off the coast. Everyone's flying off the coast and not over... Actually, what's this? Maybe a swimmer in the water, though, at North Narrabeen. When you see the life flight, so this is the yellow rescue helicopter in Sydney, and it's doing this type of zigzag pattern. Looks like they might be trying to find someone in the water, unfortunately. So they're doing that, but over the Harbour Bridge, not so much for this particular event. Probably because it's a potential S word that they're being funny about it. In Australia, you won't see it reported that often. They just don't do that. Let's see. Nope, it's not that. All right. So no traffic over the area right now. Maybe the person jumped. I hope not. Gail said you can see it on approach into Sydney. You can see it. Well, it depends which way you come. Sometimes they fly over the ocean and they come in through Botany Bay. So sometimes you can't see it because they come south and then come up through Botany, not the Harbour Bridge. Sometimes you get lucky and they fly near it, but most of the time they come in through the south now. And they fly through that region to stop air noise. So like traffic noise above people. All right, so let's keep going, my friends. It's good to see you all. I hope you're eating Easter eggs. Do we have any Easter eggs? We got some, right? We got a few. We got a couple. We didn't take many. We're not, maybe 10, 15 years ago, we'd be like, give us all the Easter eggs. But now we're like, one rabbit is enough. That's enough. We don't need more than that. Let me see. No. Actually, that's really interesting. Let me take you over here. Let's talk about this. So we're not going to talk about the politics side of it, but I do find this very interesting. So Bruce Morecombe. So do you know who Bruce Morecombe is? His son is Daniel Morecombe. Daniel Morecombe might be one of the most famous missing children in Australia. No longer missing. They have found him and he has been put to rest. and they have found the guy who abducted Daniel. But this is very interesting. Bruce Morecombe backs Peter Dutton. So Peter Dutton is the opposition trying to get into power at this election. A plan for a national public child SO register. Interesting. So Peter Dutton saying that if elected into power in Australia, that he might put in a public SO register, but make it national, not state dependent. So it would be completely throughout Australia. They said here, Bruce Morecombe, the father of murder victim Daniel Morecombe, has thrown his support behind Peter Dutton's bold plan to create a national publicly accessible child SO register. Announced on Monday morning, the trial $21.3 million scheme would be modeled on WA's register, which permits members of the public to check on men and women who interact with their children to find out if they are a convicted SO. Mr. Morecombe, speaking with Newswire ahead of the announcement, said the proposal passed the pub test and added a layer of protection to close a terrifying loophole in the current system. He says ordinary Australians would say, I do want to know who the hell these people are. I agree with him. They say Mr. Morecombe and his wife Denise lost their 13-year-old son Daniel in 2003 to a PDF file called Brett Peter Cohen. The pair set up the Daniel Morecombe Foundation to help keep children safe from predatory criminals and have campaigned for more than a decade for a public register. They say here, the police all tell us the way that the PDF files get to children is through the mum. It's through the carer that turns a blind eye and builds a relationship. That's what they're saying. They say that predator does not want a relationship with mum, they just want access to the children. The ability of that mum or carer to, at her own leisure, in her own time, go online in the privacy of her own home and just type in and apply to see if that person has a history of offending against children, and that person can decide, yes, I trust him, or that's a problem, I need to have a conversation. And they're saying the push for a public register is gaining bipartisan momentum across Australia. Interesting. I mean, if you would want to listen to anyone, it would be Morecombe's mum and dad. They know more than anyone what it's like to lose a child to a predator. And I don't know if that would have helped Daniel in any way, especially in 2003 when internet wasn't really available on a phone. But it may help someone today. So they have spent a long time campaigning for this. So we'll see if they get it. When was the boy taken? In 2003 in the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. He was waiting for a bus to go to a shopping center to buy Christmas gifts for his family. It was so busy because it was very close to Christmas that the bus that he wanted to go on was full. So the bus said, wait here, there's another one coming. But by the time the second bus arrived to pick up Daniel, he wasn't there anymore. And Brett Peter Cohen convinced Daniel that he would give him a lift to the shopping center and actually took him to a bushland location, offended against him, and then killed him and left his remains there for many, many years. So, yeah, he was gone within I think it was 5 minutes, not even. Yeah, a very old case from 2003. Peter Cohen, or Brett Peter Cohen, he was caught in a Mr. Big style sting operation. So the way they actually caught him was they pretended to induce him into a gang, and then to be a part of the gang, he had to, tell the gang leader if he'd ever done any offending that could, bring heat on the gang. And he spilt the tea and told them all about how he, might have been involved in killing this little boy on the Sunshine Coast, and got him. They got him with a Canadian style Mr. Big, sting operation, and that's how they got Peter Cohen. That's how they got him and solved the mystery of what happened to Daniel Morcombe. It was very brilliant. It was a brilliant bit of police work. Rachel said, that sounds like a good idea. We have the ability to search a local map for registered offenders. Well, I don't think we do. Hold on. Victoria. So here, no, the Victorian SO register is not publicly accessible. Access is restricted to law enforcement and authorized individuals. While police may provide information from the register in specific circumstances, it is not a public database. So there you go. In Victoria, there is no public database for SO people. Joe Neal said, what about the privacy of these vile predators? How will they find new victims? I know. If we make them public, how will they ever offend again? Yes, hopefully that'll be a good idea. Yeah, I hope they do it. That'll be good for everyone, I think. And it'll hopefully stop some of the victims, not the victims, it'll stop some of the offending happening to victims earlier, because people will be able to search these people and stop their access to children at a quicker. Having it all privatized and not being able to see it doesn't make any sense. All right, let me see. I just want to see if we have. Yes. Apparently, according to KView, I don't know if many of you saw this in Austin. Apparently, they found a body in East Austin with an apparent gunshot wound a couple of days ago. I was trying to see if we had an update on that. Police investigating body found with apparent gunshot wound in quiet East Austin neighborhood. Yeah, no update, but yeah, I'll take you to it. Someone must know who this person might be.
And Austin police say after finding a body under a bridge in East Austin this morning, they're treating this as a homicide investigation. Officers say they got a call about a man who was face down near a creek off of Lovell Drive. And when they arrived, the man was already dead and had been there for some time. They say there was obvious trauma to the body.
In the past 40 minutes, Austin police tell us they think the victim had been shot. They haven't identified that man just yet and are searching for suspects.
We can't confidently say that this is an isolated incident. So with that said, we encourage everyone to be aware of their surroundings and call 911 if you see anything suspicious.
Anyone with information in this case is asked to call APD or Crime Stoppers.
Okay, well.
So there you go. They're investigating that. A body found with a gunshot wound. They say first responders were unable to provide any medical treatment since the body appeared to have been under a bridge for quite some time. They said police said someone walking their dog Friday morning called about a body near a creek on Lovell Drive. Near the Morris Williams golf course. During a preliminary welfare check, police discovered the man's body face down below a bridge near a creek in the area. According to police, first responders couldn't do anything because he'd been dead for quite some time. Police determined the victim was an unidentified man in his 20s who appeared to have been shot and left under the bridge without any identification. Now police are searching the area for any surveillance footage as to what happened. They said the area doesn't see a lot of police activity, a sentiment neighbors also echoed. So someone dumped them there? Someone dumped this person under a bridge with a gunshot wound and just got lucky that no one found him for a long period of time? That's creepy. Let me see. Homicide East. Yeah, body was found. Yeah, East Austin. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's one on KE or KE or whatever.
So before I provide
We'll have to go here. Sorry, guys.
any details about the investigation here that's underway, on behalf of the Austin Police Department, our condolences go out to the victim's family, friends, and all those that will be affected by this tragic and unfortunate situation. Seeing that we're a few days from Easter, I hope that the family can find a sense of comfort as they try to navigate through this grieving process in the next few coming days, weeks, and even months. I assure the family that we will do everything that we can to find out what took place here, why this happened, and who, if anyone, is responsible. With that said, just before 10 o'clock a.m. this morning, APD officers responded to the 2900 block of Lavelle Drive, and that was in reference to a welfare check. We did have a caller call our 911 center and state that as they were walking their dog, they observed a male individual face down near a creek just below a bridge behind me. That caller also stated that the individual appeared unresponsive and appeared deceased. When officers arrived on scene, they did in fact locate a male subject face down near a creek. EMS also was on scene. AFD was also on scene. They were unable to provide any medical treatment due to the fact that the subject had been there for quite some time. Right now, we have homicide detectives on scene. We have our crime scene specialists. We have officers on scene canvassing the area, looking for surveillance cameras, anything that could help us try to piece together what took place here.
So it doesn't sound like they're even quite sure, like, what's going on here. Yeah, let's have a look. What is it? In the 2900 block of Lovell Drive. Let's have a look. 2900 block of Lovell Drive. No. Austin, Texas. Yeah, so right behind that golf club. What did they say? A bridge, right? A bridge? Near Lovell Drive. Is there a bridge here? I'm just having a look, guys. A bridge. Now, I'm going to take you out here. In the 2900 block. Well, there's Lovell. That's 2800 block. This is the 2900 block. Under a bridge. That's the back of the golf course. There's Manor Road. I can't even see a bridge. Maybe Ping is blind. Like, there's water there. Like, you would think there's this thing. That's not the right place, though. Near a creek underneath a bridge. Okay. Well, I mean, is this a creek? That's a bridge. Goes over water, right? Doesn't seem to be anything on this particular side if I zoom out. I don't see any waterways on the... So this is the 2900 block here. And there is a wetlands area next door. There's nothing up north either. There's a skate park. The only thing I can think of is that it's got to be somewhere... It's got to be this. This is about the only thing that looks anything like a bridge. But how would someone have dumped a body here and not seen it for days? Like, to the point where this person was not alive for a long period. Face down near a creek underneath a bridge. So authorities described the victim as a white Hispanic male, appears to be in his early 20s with two separate tattoos reading Angel and Martinez. Police confirmed there was obvious trauma to the body but did not provide further detail. So 2 tattoos, Angel and Martinez. Yeah, interesting. So where are they saying? Oh, okay. There's a stream that goes through here. Okay, I see it. Okay, so no, they're saying it's up here. I can't see it, but they're saying it's through here. Like right here. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. There's a bridge right here. Right here. This is actually a stream under here. So under this bridge here with Lovell Drive, under here somewhere, there's a dude's home like right here in the 2903. And someone lives over here in 2901 and 2. So under this bridge, I mean, it is concealed by this brush and that. I mean, I guess that's why maybe you wouldn't see it, but that's insane to have someone's property like so close and not know that there's a dead human under that bridge. That is true. But yeah, there you go. That's the exact spot where they found that body. That's an interesting one. So this person in these homes never heard anything, didn't hear people throwing a body off a bridge or anything, didn't hear a car stop here and open a boot and throw someone off the bridge. Very strange. Very strange, that one. Yeah. Apparently that is considered a creek, but at least in this map photo, it's not showing any water. Apparently it runs all through here. I just don't know if there's so much tree cover that you can't see it, but apparently this is a creek or stream all through up here. And then you come up to the bridge up through here. So apparently there is water here at some point in the year. But yeah, like you got 2 houses right next door. And then there's 2 here too. 2910. And I'm not sure what number that is. 2914 maybe? And then this one, like this guy's so close. 2903. And then they found a body under here. I mean, that's what you gotta. Why does this have 2905? Someone has their address as underneath the bridge. Can they get mail delivered here at 2905? Yeah. So there you go. I don't know what to tell you except for I'm surprised that there's no wonder they want surveillance footage from any of these homes, like a Zoom doorbell or Ring doorbell. Anyone that has a Ring doorbell on this street could provide what happened here, because they're going to figure out like this car that keeps coming here or stopped for a period of time and then came back, or they should be able to figure it out based on how long the body was down there. Your dad wouldn't hear it. Maybe they're older people. Pretty crazy to find a body right next to your home. So maybe it was this person who was walking their dog all through here, maybe. Crazy. Yeah, Hispanic male, aged in his 20s, has a tattoo with Angel or Hernandez on it. Oh no, Martinez. Sorry, my bad. Angel or Martinez, and had a obvious trauma of a gunshot wound. So there you go. Sounds like maybe gang related. Maybe something like that. Gang. Woman has still said the wind must be blowing away from that house because you wouldn't smell it. I know, right? Especially because they're saying he's been there a while. Joe said that's more of a billabong. Could be a billabong. Yeah, that one's strange. I will keep an eye on that and we'll see if we get an ID. Dog walker finds body near Austin Creek. Let's see. Yeah, no, 16 hours ago on KABB Fox 26. Okay, no, they don't have an update either. Same information. They say here, investigation is still in the very early stages, but it appears the victim was shot by an unknown suspect who remains at large. Well, they just got to figure out who it is, and then they'd be able to probably track it back through the people, people they know. Hold on, guys. What's this? 15-year-old James Raker, last seen in New Braunfels. Well, we've had a missing person in that area before. You guys would all remember last year we had a big missing person case in this in New Braunfels last year. There was a missing. What's the kid's name? James Rakers. I don't know if I've seen this one pop up yet. Oh yeah, it's on missingkids.org. No more information though. Just that he was last seen on the 8th of April. 8th of April? That's freaking ages away. Why is this only just now coming up into the media? They only put his story up like a day ago. Yet he's been missing since the 8th? Child cases where a teenager or a child is missing, time is of the essence. You can't report someone missing like 2 weeks later and be like, yeah, help us find them. They could be anywhere. The sooner you report it missing, the quicker you can get onto it. The 8th of April, he was last seen. That's not great. Let me just check if there's an Amber Alert for him. No Amber Alert for this particular child. Don't have one of those. Yeah, so no Amber Alert, but they are reporting him as missing. I don't see a vulnerable tag either. So they're not saying missing and vulnerable, no medical condition. Any other information? No. He was last seen 8th of April. Caution, if located, do not approach and immediately contact law enforcement. Okay. Yeah, let's go to WOAI and see what they have to say. They're saying police are asking for help finding a teen who has been missing for nearly 2 weeks. 15-year-old James Rakers was last seen in New Braunfels on April 8th. Authorities say if you notice and recognize a 15-year-old male, do not approach and call law enforcement. But that's it. No other information except for that. So if you're in the area and you see that little kid, call police. Woman has still said, police often think older kids are runaways and don't look for them right away. That is true. Hey, Profiler, how are you? Happy Easter. Rachel said, my sister's in New Braunfels and shared this today. Good work. I'm glad that she did. Yeah, I don't know why not approach. Could be autistic or something. Some autistic children don't like being approached by strangers. So is it something like that maybe? I'm not sure, but sometimes that could be. But I don't see a medical tag. Normally, if it's something like that, you'll get a vulnerable because of medical kind of description. But I don't see that. Okay. By the way, a guy actually down here was killed yesterday. I don't know if I spoke about it, but a guy was stabbed to death down here on Saturday. Yeah, I'll show you. Man stabbed to death on Chapel Street on Easter Sunday. That was yesterday. They say the man was stabbed to death in Melbourne's inner southeast on Easter Sunday. The man, aged in his 20s, was stabbed during an altercation on Chapel Street at Paran at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. The man was rushed to hospital by paramedics before he died from his injuries. No arrests have been made, but Victoria Police has launched an investigation. Police discovered a gun at the scene and promptly put it into a brown paper bag as evidence. It remains unclear if the firearm is connected to the stabbing. So yeah, a guy got stabbed in Paran on the weekend and unfortunately died. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like he would run away. All right. Let's head to Arizona for a minute.
I've spoken to here tells me this story comes out of left field, and there were no signs that the high school baseball coach may have been having sex with his students and recording the sex acts on his cell phone. It's a story that's rocked this Phoenix campus, with students and staff at Cortez High School getting the news today that a popular teacher has been arrested and charged with having sex with current and former students.
Everyone just heard the news that, wow, this teacher was involved in this and that he was arrested. So I was shocked because it was just crazy.
This is the teacher now in custody, 43-year-old Eric Chapman.
The state believes that he's a danger to the community.
During his initial appearance in court, we learned the Valley educator has been charged with 7 counts of sexual contact with a minor and 11 counts of sexual exploitation. Prosecutors claim the TV and film teacher has admitted to having sex with 2 current and 1 former student in his classroom, in his office, with the most recent incident reportedly taking place last week.
I got a random email at 10 a.m.
Parents like Raphael tell us the more details that come out, the more upset he gets.
I mean, I was shocked at first and disgusted, right? I think my secondary emotion was anger to know that that person was allowed to be around children. I mean, that's tough though, right? It's hard if people don't.
So this coach, yeah, very, very brazen of him, very brazen of his offending. But the family wrote this. It was sent to parents. We are writing to inform you that a Cortez High School administration was notified by the Phoenix PD that one of our teachers was arrested on charges related to crimes against children. Upon learning of the allegations, school and district admin took immediate action. The teacher has been relieved of all duties. The Glendale Union High School District takes these matters seriously and works with law enforcement to support their investigations and ensure student safety. As this is an active police investigation, we are unable to share further details. Thank you for your continued partnership and support. They're saying here, Eric Curtis Chapman, 43, of Surprise. It is a surprise. Was arrested Wednesday for the alleged crimes, according to the Phoenix PD. He was booked into the Maricopa County Jail under 11 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor and 7 counts of sexual conduct with a minor or felonies. His initial court appearance on Wednesday morning, a prosecutor with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office said the crimes involved current and now former students and happened in the classroom, the locker room, and in Chapman's car. The crimes believed to have happened between 2020 and the first week of April 2025. The prosecutor also added the child SA material was found on Chapman's electronic devices. Court documents revealed that he admitted to downloading hundreds of illegal images and videos, which he reportedly admitted to keeping mainly on his home computer after downloading them on the dark web. According to the Glendale Union High School District, staff were notified by the Phoenix PD about the charges against Chapman and that he was relieved of all duties. He was listed on the school's website as a TV and film teacher and baseball coach. Oh, what the hell? That is disturbing to hear that he was so brazen to film not only at the school, in the locker room, and in his own car. What the hell? Yeah, he is a rock spider. 100% a rock spider. No doubt about that. Jodo says, disgusting. Yes, he is. Gail says, maybe I'm lucky I don't have the right to bear arms. I know. What a horrible person that guy is. Let's see if I can find anything. What was his name? Eric Curtis Chapman. Let's see. Eric Curtis Chapman. Here he is. So apparently this is him too. There's a video of him. Not this one. Yeah. There you go. There is Eric Curtis Chapman. So if you live in Maricopa County, keep an eye out for this absolute rock spider and make sure he's not around your children in the future when he probably gets out of jail in 25 years. What an awful person. Gail said, how bloody stupid are these people keeping evidence on their devices? They can't let go of their trophies. Woman of Steel said he probably wanted that job to be close to children. Probably. Yes, I taught you that word. That is right. Maybe yeah. Far out. Sorry. That was a word I wasn't supposed to use, but I'm just can't believe that he was so brazen. In the coach's in the coach locker room, inside his personal vehicle, in classrooms, and on the campus. Chapman identified 2 current male students, both minors, and 1 former student who is now an adult. So it seems like he targeted male young people, not female, which does happen. Male juniors can be brought into this type of thing too. So he's been currently held on a $250,000 bond, and he faces multiple counts in those charges against children. And yeah, apparently the investigation started on March 25th after it revealed nude photos had been sent to a minor. So it all came unraveling after he sent things to a minor kid. Rachel said, yeah, I'd say he wanted access. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. 322. Okay. Marlene said, do they do background checks on these teachers? It wouldn't have mattered, though, because it only matters after they have offended or been caught offending. If they've never been caught offending, then they'll pass a background check, right? They will. So it's sort of only a stop after this person is known to people, but it doesn't matter before then because they won't get picked up. So these people, it's not a safety net. All it is to stop them reoffending again. That's all it is, really. Hey Carolina, what's up, my friend? I know, right? I stopped myself? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have any more on him. It seems like that's all that's really out there on Mr. Eric Curtis Chapman. I'm just trying to see if there is a different one.
A Phoenix high school teacher and coach behind bars accused of sexual misconduct and exploitation of several students.
43-year-old Eric Chapman now facing several serious charges. Lauren Clark joins us live now with reaction from parents.
Hey there, John and Christina. Well, parents are absolutely disgusted and appalled that something like this could happen, specifically because police say that these crimes happened right here on campus and in Chapman's car, and in many situations, he filmed those interactions.
Very disturbing.
Parents of Cortez High students in Phoenix say they're horrified to hear the news.
It's scary in this day and age to send your kids to school because you have no idea what's going to happen.
A teacher and a baseball coach at the school now behind bars, accused of multiple child sex crimes.
You really can't depend on anybody to watch out for your kid but you.
Eric Chapman is arrested on 7 counts of sexual conduct with a minor, plus 11 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. Police say victims include current students ages 16 and 17, and an adult victim who is a former student and a minor at the time. Investigators say they also found explicit files of minors on Chapman's phone and computer.
When law enforcement interviewed the suspect, he admitted to sexual acts happening as recently as last week.
During his first court appearance,
The state believes that he's a danger to the community.
prosecutors pushed for a high cash-only bond.
as well as his position as a coach and a teacher. He is in a position of trust, and the state believes that a higher bond is appropriate.
The school district sent out a letter to Cortez parents saying, in part, upon learning of the allegations, school and district administration took immediate action. The teacher has been relieved of all duties. The Glendale Union High School District takes these matters seriously and works closely with law enforcement to support their investigations and ensure student safety. And I asked several parents about what they thought about that statement, and they say it doesn't really cut it for them. They want to know answers about how this happened in the first place. Chapman's being held on a $250,000 cash-only bond, and according to a police report, officers say they were able to make the connection between Chapman and his crimes due to a social media account.
Wow, it's lucky because of that social media account that they were able to connect him to it. Thank God that didn't go the other way. You saw him in court, right? Like if we go back on this one.
Reporting live.
Let me go back on this. Yeah, where is he? He's still wearing what looks like a high school shirt. I mean, that's some great publicity for your high school if it is. Gayla says, "Why is there so many stories in this country?" I don't know. I could do I do a show every day, and we don't really run out of stories. I have stories every day for you, as sad as that is. All right. Wow. I'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to put that in my filters to keep an eye. I want to see when he goes back to court. So he's not due back in court for a while. He's now in jail, so they're going to probably stage another hearing within a month. So it's normally 4 weeks after your first appearance. Yeah, so we're going to have to wait on that. I do cover Phoenix a lot. We covered the yeah. So we covered the Emily Pike thing quite heavily when it happened, but I don't have any more information. I don't know what's going on in the. Actually, there is a bit of an update. Oh shit! There is a bit of an update. Sorry about the swearing. Apparently, there's a couple of things that have come out. Why this didn't come up in my filters, I don't know. Indigenous teen was in foster care before murder. Okay. They say police say Emily Pike tried to run away from group home repeatedly. They say Emily Pike, the 14-year-old girl who was murdered earlier this month, had been removed from her home by tribal social workers and put in foster care after reporting that she had been SA'd on that San Carlos Apache tribe land. Pueblo. It says here San Carlos Apache Pueblo. So they say Emily ran away from the group home where she was sent in Mesa, Arizona more than once. Police had also received a call that she had attempted S-word in 2023. They say worst case scenario, this happens again. Something happens, someone gets hurt, getting sent somewhere and just ending up like my niece. That's her uncle. That's not something we want anyone else to go through. They say multiple law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, are actively investigating Emily's death and murder. Yeah, family of Emily Pike says murdered 14-year-old girl was a SA victim before the murder occurred. Far out. Yeah, so that's why she was removed from the San Carlos Apache reservation before her murder, is because they're saying that she was victimized while there. Crazy. Really sad. I hope they find out what happened to her and the person who did it, but I hope they find the rest of her. I know there's been search parties, but I haven't seen any update about if they've found the rest of her remains, unfortunately. Emily Pike. Yeah, I don't see anything about that search party. Yeah, nothing that I could report to you anyway.
Body found dismembered in trash bags 2 months ago, and police say there are still no suspects. We're learning in 2023, Emily Pike had reported a sexual assault on the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation. Tribal social service workers removing Emily from her home and putting her in foster care. Relatives are questioning the criminal justice system now, saying they failed Emily.
Worst case scenario, this happens again. Same thing happens. Someone gets hurt, getting sent somewheres, and just ending up like my niece did. And that's not something we want anybody else to go through.
Officials say Emily struggled with her placement at the group home in Mesa. Police reports showing she repeatedly tried to run away, and officers also responding to a call about a suicide attempt in November of 2023. For details.
So that's the only update I have on it. But we have a little more context now on like why she was taken from that reservation. But it seems like, yeah, she unfortunately was a victim of a reported SA. How terrible. And then she ended up being killed in this way. I hope they figure it out. Being that the FBI is involved, I hope so. I hope it's not going to be too much longer until we find out exactly what happened. But yeah, that's your latest update on Emily Pike, unfortunately. All right. I don't know if I want to do that one. So I had another story out of Ohio, but I don't. After doing Emily's story, I don't really want to do it. Rachel said, it sounds like poor Emily needed more help than she was getting. Definitely. Wuna Steele said, what do you do when you are young and not safe anywhere? And it's what it sounds like. She said she wasn't safe at the group home. She wasn't safe at the reservation. It sounds like this girl didn't know where she belonged. And then she ended up next to a road near Globe, dismembered. So Sean says, hi, Gayla. Hi. All right. I think that's about it. I think we're about done for a Sunday night. Sunday nights are pretty slow, so we have to wait till Monday. People need you to tell their story. I know. The one out of Ohio is pretty bad though. Hold on. I'll show it quickly, but it's not a good one. They're saying investigating alleged SA involving New Albany church leader. So they're saying here a church leader has been allegations of SA.
The Licking County Sheriff's Office has launched an investigation into allegations of sexual abuse involving a former leader of a New Albany megachurch.
This comes after Attorney General Dave Yost recused himself from the investigation because of his friendship with the church's lead pastors. It is important to note tonight, no charges have been filed. All new at 6, Kate Seifert is breaking down new records coming to us from law enforcement.
So far, we've gotten our hands on these records from the Attorney General's office. These documents reveal one person's allegations of sexual abuse while she was a juvenile.
Here's what we know so far. In December, a police report was filed in Knox County. The incident listed here as rape and sex offense. In a report taken by a Knox County detective in January, the alleged victim says she was assaulted more than 100 times before she turned 15 years old, and much of the alleged abuse happened at a home in Knox County, according to these reports. According to Attorney General Dave Yost's official Facebook page, the Knox County Sheriff said their department could not investigate the case because the alleged suspect's mother, Drenda Cassie, is a county commissioner who votes on the sheriff's budget. Drenda and her husband, Gary Cassie, are the lead pastors here at Faith Life Church. The case was then sent to Ohio's Bureau of Criminal Investigation. But according to public records we've obtained, Dave Yost's office sent this letter back to Knox County, telling them they too have a conflict of interest and could not investigate the allegations either. On Facebook, Yost states he is friends with the alleged suspect's parents and they have been guests in his home. That's how the investigation ended up here in Licking County. On Monday, I tried getting some answers and updates about where the investigation stands from the sheriff's office. Good. Hey, I'm checking to see if Sheriff Thorpe is in his office today. I was told the sheriff wasn't in, but the office posted this release on Facebook saying they had assigned detectives to investigate and encourage those with information about the case to contact them. In the last few weeks,
So a bunch of people in the original county can't investigate the crime because they're so intertwined with that particular mega church that they had to recuse themselves from any investigation. So they kept handballing the investigation to different people, and they all had to say, "Oh, we're so great friends with the pastor and the other people and the one lady who controls the bloody sheriff budget." Wow. I mean, no wonder they had to be like, let's just send it to the agency that's outside of here. It's crazy. Hopefully, this particular sheriff will actually investigate it properly. They're saying here the case initially belonged to Knox County, but they had to basically remove themselves from it because they're so intertwined. And the church is called Faith Life Church, and it's Gary and Dendra, and they are the lead pastors for it. They say, due to its conflict of interest, Knox County Sheriff said it handed the case over to the state's Bureau of Criminal Investigation, and they obtained a letter saying that basically they couldn't work on it either due to internal conflicts of interest that they had. So two different levels of policing both had to knock the case back because of how intertwined they are with the church or people involved with the church. I mean, I guess that is the right thing to do rather than trying to investigate it even with the conflict of interest and then having it fail later on due to the conflict of interest, I guess. But that just shows you how much power sometimes these churches have. So Licking County has taken over with their sheriff's office. And what are they saying? They're saying it's one woman's allegations of SA when she was a juvenile. And like you heard in that video, she has accused them of over 100 times of SA. That is insane. 100 times that she was assaulted. Crazy. I hope that the new county sheriff that is investigating can get this done. But they're saying we encourage anyone who believes they have relevant information concerning the case to contact the county sheriff. Even if you had prior contact with other law enforcement, they want you to contact them because they are investigating it, not the original Knox County. So, yeah, if there's one girl that's saying that she was abused over 100 times, how many do you reckon? How many people think there will be others? Ping says yes. Ping says me. I believe there's others. 100%. Often when they victimize one, they victimize more. So I would say yes. Yeah, Columbine. I can't believe Columbine's almost what 1999. Yeah, 26 years ago. It feels like yesterday. 100 times. That's what it said. Yep. 100 times before she was 16. So that is a lot of abuse, unfortunately. So I will keep an eye on that one too. So the church said, while no formal charges have been filed, we take these allegations of misconduct seriously. Our leadership and pastors are fully committed to truth and transparency and are prepared to cooperate fully with law enforcement in any way necessary. We are seeking guidance from legal counsel to navigate this situation responsibly and in a manner that prioritizes truth and healing. Yes, we can all trust a church to do that. Truth and healing, hey? I don't know about that. Yeah, I will keep an eye on it. That one popped up on my list out of Ohio over the last few days. I will let you know if we hear any more. Rachel said, I'm sure there's more victims and maybe they will come forward now. Maybe now that it's out of county, they will because there's a completely different person doing it. Yeah, I definitely think there's probably more. Hypocrites, yeah. Yes, it is bullcrap. Woman of Steel says time goes by so fast. I can't believe that was so long. There's been heaps like the big tornado outbreak that happened in 2011. I can't believe that's like 15 years ago. Like where did 15 years go by? How did that happen? It's crazy how fast time moves. Marilyn Landis says, I used to live near New Albany years ago. Prevost said, I watched so many documentaries on Columbine. It's so horrific. Yeah, it is horrific that they need drills for it. It is pretty bad. I mean, if that's one thing you have to learn in school before you learn your ABCs, I think that is frightening. I think it's very scary. Yes. All right. Oh, that's interesting. So, I told you about the Harbor Bridge thing earlier? Apparently they did have a helicopter out there. So I think it's a news helicopter here. So they had a helicopter fly out and take some footage of the cars, probably, and they did a big loop and then flew away. So they were probably trying to take footage over the Harbor Bridge, showing what was going on. Probably a news helicopter. Let me see if there is an update. Actually, there's an update on that woman in Bankstown. Came out 10 minutes ago. Let me tell you. They're saying here, threats made prior to a woman being kidnapped from her Bankstown home and murdered are being investigated by police as they continue to hunt those responsible for the horrific attack. So they're saying there was threats? Interesting. They say a key line of inquiry for detectives are threats made to associates of Miss Tran in the lead up to the murder. So who got threats? That's interesting. Or why? Yeah. The Daily Telegraph can reveal that some of Miss Tran's associates had been threatened by rival groups prior to the shocking attack. That's interesting. And police said that while Miss Tran had no criminal, was not known to do anything like that, they say links of her associates to drugs, including supply and potentially theft of imports, have been central to work done so far by the strike force investigators. They say identifying the source of those threats is a priority to police, with the grim possibility remaining that the murder of innocent Miss Tran was indeed to send a message. Who are these associates who received threats? That will be very interesting to find out. So, yeah, they're now saying and reporting that someone had been threatening associates of Miss Tran in the lead up to her murder. That is very good information. That's from the Daily Telegraph, by the way. That just came out like 5 minutes ago. So they didn't say family associates. They just said associates. They didn't say the word family. You can see it on your screen. They said threats made prior to a woman being kidnapped from her Bankstown home and murdered are being investigated by police. And they said a key line of inquiry for detectives are threats made to associates of Miss Tran in the lead up to the murder. But they haven't said exactly who these people are. Yeah, police sources said while Miss Tran had no criminal motive or was known to be involved in organized crime, links of her associates to drugs, including supply and potentially the theft of imports, have been central to work done so far by the investigators. And they said the Daily Telegraph can reveal some of Miss Tran's associates had been threatened by rival groups prior to the shocking attack. So, who are these rival groups and why were they threatening people that were surrounding Miss Tran? And how did she come to be messed up in all of it? Gayla said, I know, but yeah, I know. It's strange to be like, if she's not involved and she's just sort of like an outside orbit, why is she getting targeted? Why not target the people that were actually involved? It's very strange. True. There's been 3 Viet busts. Okay. If you can find one about drugs being stolen, let me know. Gayla said, I know, but I don't get it either. collateral damage. Why not kill the people that actually stole the drugs then? Why not kill them first instead of sending a message? If you're going to commit murder, you might as well kill the people that actually did it. Well, maybe. I still don't get that line of thinking. I'd rather kill the people who actually stole the drugs or money or whatever. I mean, yeah, you could send a message with that too. Be like, give back the drugs or you're going to get killed too. Yeah, so that's the latest breaking news 5 minutes ago. I'm just checking if there's another one. No update anywhere else. That came directly from the Daily Telegraph less than 10 minutes ago. So that really is your latest news on Miss Tran. So apparently they have several squads working under the strike force and the state crime command. Probably the drug squad, probably the border patrol, if it's something to do with import, and probably Asian crime detectives as well. They're saying here, an 8-year-old boy is... Yeah, no other information on these threats or what they were about. Yeah, they just said here that the murder of innocent Miss Tran was indeed to send a message. So they're saying that that's possibly all this was to tell people, hey, better give back that money and the drugs, or we're going to come get you as well. So there you go. All right, we're going to end with that. That is your latest information in that one. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, just that's the word they're using, associates. So I'll let you know if any more breaking news happens between when I see you now and tomorrow. I will definitely tell you as soon as I start the show tomorrow night. I love you all. Have a great Sunday. She's doing okay, as good as can be. I mean, I'm sure she'd like to be better and not sick, but yeah, she's just dealing with it. Fairfield and Auburn and Canley Vale. Okay, I'll have a look. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. And yeah, have a great rest of your Easter weekend. And I'm sorry it's not a public holiday for you tomorrow like it is in Australia. So I'll see you tomorrow night for Monday night. And I'm sure we'll have a lot more breaking news then. Love you all. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye.